Welcome back to Donna Depp Movie Explainer. Today I'm going to explain a movie called Science Fiction Volume 1, The Osiris Child. This is the bravest girl I have ever seen. She is trapped underground, lives with the monster for a year, and not only tamed it, but makes it her bodyguard. The movie is set in the distant future, where humans start to colonize the universe. A little girl named Indy tells the story of her father, Cain, who led an earlier combat mission in a desolate world. However, Cain has made a fatal mistake in the mission that resulted in the death of nearly all of his crew. Fortunately, he was pardoned by the higher-ups due to his outstanding career as a fighter pilot, but he and his family were never the same. After the mission, Cain was moved to the desolate world to support a new settlement there. One day, Indy is on vacation to the planet to meet her father, and she looks very happy, even though she is not interested in such an empty desert. After spending time with her father, Indy is entrusted to her nanny who lives in the capital of Osiris because Cain has to complete his duties until the weekend at the Flotilla military base. He promises her that he will be back soon and she can call him anytime. It turns out that the workers on this planet are mostly Earth prisoners who were forced to work without getting paid off. The next day, Cain wakes up in the flotilla and receives a message from his daughter while looking at some reports. However, the message is suddenly cut off, and he cannot reply to her message. He then asks his AI to restore it, but the AI says that it cannot because all communications to the surface have been interrupted after an unknown disturbance in the prison. The development of settlements on the planet is controlled by Exor, an off-Earth military contract company led by General Linux. She is currently visited by Colonel Michael, who informs her that the prison has been breached. Apparently, the beasts created by the company have broken into the prison and killed most of the prisoners. The Colonel suggests that they should save the citizens on the planet before the beasts kill everyone on the surface, but the General thinks that it will destroy Exor's reputation. After that, she decides to hold a meeting to present and lies to the attendees by saying that the prisoners have rioted and were in possession of a lethal virus that Exor has researched called etholinide, and they will use the virus to hold the planet hostage. Because of that, Linux persuades the Exor leaders to implement Protocol 84, which requires the entire decimation of the colony, in the hope that the prisoners can surrender themselves. The General claims that they have 23 hours to achieve the protocol and promises that the people in Osiris will be fine. Linux's decision is unacceptable to Cain, especially since his daughter is now in Osiris. After returning to his room, he attempts to contact Indy once again, but to no avail as the communication system in Flotilla is still having problems. After a while, Colonel Michael suddenly comes to his room and finally tells him the truth. Actually, the virus does not exist. What Exor has been doing secretly all this time is the creation of beasts called the Ragged, which they will use later in the creation of new colonies. The beasts have escaped and are now heading for Osiris. He also explains that Protocol 84 was carried out to eliminate Linux's research evidence. After hearing this, Cain becomes angry and goes straight to Osiris by plane before they close the hangar bay. Because his departure from Flotilla is detected by the control room, they send an officer to destroy Cain's aircraft. Luckily, he is able to escape the officer thanks to his skills, though he ends up falling from his aircraft and landing in the water. He then stands up, but a mysterious man suddenly knocks him out with a gun. A few moments later, Cain wakes up on the ground and finds the person who dragged him named Cy Lombrook, who is now pointing the gun at him. He then lies to Cy by saying that the prisoners had the access to the reactors, but it turns out that Cy was a nurse at the prison, so he knows what was really going on there. Therefore, Cain finally tells the truth that he only wants to save his daughter in Osiris because this planet is going to explode in the next 23 hours. He also says that he will give Cy access to the safety bunker if he wants to help him, and Cy eventually agrees. A flashback reveals the situation in the prison before Cy escaped from there, where he is enjoying a meal with his two friends, Vim and Crete. At that time, they are discussing a plan to escape from prison. Crete says that the prison is too tight for them to escape, but Cy tells them that he has the information to escape from another prisoner named Carmel, who managed to escape from solitary confinement without being detected by the security system. Therefore, all of them agree with Cy's plan, and he tells them that they need to be in solitary confinement to find the right exit. After that, Cy starts a commotion in the hall, which is immediately interrupted by the head warden, Mordain, and the other guards. Surprisingly, Mordain allows the fight to continue as long as the crowd behaves. The fight continues, and just as Cy is about to be killed, Crete suddenly hurts the man who hit him, sparking a riot and causing the guards to stop them. The prisoners are sent to solitary confinement in the form of rotating cells with flashing lights and strange noises that have irritating effects on the prisoners' minds. Cy and Vim also stay there for a while, until Mordain takes them away for a purpose. The scene shifts back to the present, where Cy is walking with Cain to Osiris. Cy then tells him that they need a vehicle to make it to the capital in time. Because of this, the two head to a contraband outpost, where they can borrow a vehicle from one of the people there. Once there, the bar lady informs the two that the bus outside belongs to Jip and Bill, who are having fun by throwing knives at a human-shaped target. Kane tries to talk with them, but the couple gets angry, and Jip quickly puts a knife on his neck. Fortunately, Sai intervenes at the right time and tells them that Kane is willing to pay them 20 grand for the trip. Hence, the couple agrees, and all of them head for the capital. In another flashback, Vim wakes up inside a cage and sees a beast coming towards him. It then attacks him with its tongue, injecting him with some kind of harmful substance. On the other side, Sai also wakes up inside a cage after hearing a scream, while Mordain explains to him about Exor's terraforming project, which is the act of making a hostile environment habitable for humans by exterminating the indigenous species. He also tells Sai that one of his friends, Vim, has met a beast of their creation that can adapt to a hostile environment. Shortly after, Sai falls down as the floor suddenly opens under him, and he shows up in another room where his friend, Bostock, managed to escape from solitary confinement. However, their escape is interrupted by Crete, who says that he has released the beasts from their cage. As a result, the prisoners attempt to run away from the prison while the beasts start to kill everyone there, including Mordain. After getting out of prison, Bostock and Crete want to leave for Osiris, but Sai says that they have to separate as he wants to go alone to the opera. Back to the present, the group decides to buy some weapons from the gun dealers, Hopper and Mandel, who ask them to pay 30 grand. Kane inevitably pays the amount they want and then leaves with the group. After both of them enjoy their new money, they just realize that the beasts have surrounded their shack while preparing to attack them. Hopper and Mandel attempt to defend themselves by shooting them through the window, but their efforts are in vain, so Hopper decides to kill himself with a grenade. Later, Kane tells everyone else on the bus about the beasts and the bomb that will explode in the next few hours. They also have in-depth talks about their background, what they did on that planet, and how they ended up there. Long story short, the group finally arrives at Osiris, where things get very chaotic as the beasts have arrived in the city, infecting the residents indiscriminately. Kane and Sai go out to find Indy, while Jip and Bill provide cover and defend their bus. Both of them eventually break into Indy's apartment, only to find that her nanny has died. Luckily, they find Indy unharmed as she has been hiding in the closet. When they want to get back to the bus, it turns out that the building has been surrounded by the beasts. Meanwhile, Bill is dying after being attacked by the beasts, so Jip has to drag him into the bus. Since she cannot find any medical equipment, her partner has to die in her arms. On the other hand, the trio finally makes it to the roof. Seeing no other way out, all of them decide to jump off the roof and manage to land safely on top of the bus. Kane, Sai, and Indy quickly enter the bus before Jip drives the bus out of the city. On their way to the bunker, Kane finally explains everything to his daughter and promises that they will live a better life after surviving this incident. He then directs Jip to the bunker while telling the code to everyone so they can enter the bunker later. At the same time, one of Exor's officers spots their bus approaching the bunker. After failing to trick the officers, the aircraft suddenly appears in front of them and starts shooting, killing Jip and Kane in the process. Realizing they have little time left, Sai picks up Indy and takes her off the bus, trying to reach the bunker by running. Unluckily, a beast finds them on the way and chases them into a cave, where it manages to infect Sai with its tongue as he shoots the beast dead. Both of them finally find the bunker entrance and quickly input the code, allowing them to get inside just before the bomb destroys the planet. At that moment, Sai begins to transform into the beast, thus he asks Indy to find him something sharp to kill himself, but the girl refuses to do so and chooses to hug him. A few days after the explosion, two explorers find a beacon inside the cave and see Indy near the bunker wearing a spacesuit. Suddenly, the explorers are attacked by Sai, who now becomes a beast, but still has rationality thanks to Indy. The girl then uses the opportunity to interrogate the explorer, who explains that the flotilla is on its way back to Earth after the disaster. She also explains that Exor has told the story of the prisoners who revolted and sabotaged the reactors, causing destruction with no survivors. In the end, Indy threatens to kill the explorer, unless she takes herself inside of the flotilla undetected, and she accepts because she has no other choice. All of them end up boarding the aircraft, and the woman sees Indy and Sai interacting through sign language. The movie ends with Indy petting Sai's head, telling him they will return home, and saying goodbye to her dad for the last time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe.